welcome to Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydnee McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
Hello, sisters. Welcome to this week's episode.
So happy to be here in this episode.
I've provided Diet Dr. Peppers for two of us. Taylor, I would provide you one.
Where's mine? You could have sent it to me. You could have prepared.
Sydnee, you could have planned in advance.
Shipped it to you ahead of time.
You don't think about me until I'm in front of your face.
Drink this.
At this exact time on this day.
Do not drink it sooner.
Do not open this. It will be flat.
Do you want a Diet Dr. Pepper?
No, I have coffee and wine right now, so I'm good.
Okay.
I think I'm better actually than I would have been with a Diet Dr. Pepper.
That's basically what Diet Dr. Pepper is. It's a mixture of coffee and wine.
So if I just together in my glasses right now, all right.
Are you mixing those? Because I don't know about that mix.
Well, not like at once, not like in my mouth, but like in my tummy.
Just like pouring them in at one time, like one in each hand.
The one time it was when I was dating Justin, and we drank a bunch of coffee right before we went out together, and then we had a beer, and I had made it like halfway through my beer, and I was not feeling great because coffee and beer.
Well, yeah, that's like common sense.
That was bad. So I had to go sit down outside on the sidewalk so that I didn't, hurl. And I wasn't. This is not like I wasn't drunk or anything. It was just like coffee belly and
coffee belly
beer.
Coffee belly.
And Justin came out and sat down next to me and put his arm around me, and I still remember that moment as the moment I knew I loved him.
What?
There's that story.
That came out of nowhere. That's sweet.
Sitting on the sidewalk in front of Sharky's, he had his arm around me, and I had a belly full of coffee. I used to drink a lot of cream in my coffee, and he really did. I know, and he made it for me, and so it was like a really creamy, tasty coffee, and then just a little bit of beer, and it was like, whoa, no. And I still remember thinking, I love this man.
He even loves my coffee belly.
So there's that.
Wow, that's
Thanks,
sweet.
Sid.
Sorry, that has nothing to do with it.
No.
I don't know.
We're not talking about coffee belly this week.
No, not coffee belly, not Sharky's, not Justin.
Not dates.
Not love.
Nothing of the sort.
No. But then
work on that transition.
I know. I can't come up with anything. So
hey guys, we gotta get this rolling because I gotta go to work in a few hours.
Oh, speaking of work.
Hey, there you go. I just softball that one to you, just right underhand.
Thank you. That was good. I didn't have anything. I don't know. Sorry. These stories, they just come out and I know. And then I don't have any transitions. But work, where Taylor will go. I will not go today. I don't work today.
I don't either. It's Sunday.
This is sort of work.
I mean,
for you.
We're at work.
This is my work.
This is like the only job you have.
This is my job. This is the only job I have
ever had, really. Jeez, Riley. You gonna start pulling your weight or?
I live at home still. I don't got a lot of weight to pull.
Well, you don't eat? You don't have a bedroom there? You don't use water? You don't use electricity?
Do mom and dad make me pay for water, Sydnee? Every time I fill up a glass of water, they're like, all right, that's $1. Come on, pay up.
I mean, I don't think a glass of water costs $1, but...
It doesn't cost anything, Sydnee. I live at home. It's water.
Listen, there's a lot you take for granted. Someday you'll be a parent and you will understand. I mean, maybe. Someday maybe you'll be a parent.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll understand.
That is true, though. Like, I live alone, but I have a roommate. But, like, when you start really understanding that, like, well, if I sit in the dark... will have to pay less money at the end of the month. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to take. You start really picking apart what the things you used to take for granted there.
That really is true. Justin's become the dad who's always turning down the thermostat now.
Oh,
the dad.
Yes, I know. And it sucks because I keep thinking, why am I freezing again? Like I got the house warm. Everything was okay. And I'm not walking around in shorts and a t-shirt and expecting to be warm. Like I'm bundled up and still freezing. And I go check and the thermostat's at 68. And I'm like, what is this all about?
Yeah.
Please. The wind chill was 6 degrees yesterday.
I know.
6 degrees outside.
I had to go out and get gas and 9-volt batteries.
Okay.
I had to stand out in the cold and get gas in 6-degree weather.
Oh no, your life is so hard.
She had to gas up the Lexus.
Oh man.
That's as old as I am. And only kind of works.
Yeah, okay.
So jobs.
Yeah.
I have one now.
Wow, do you?
Yeah.
I never would have guessed.
I have a job now. I didn't back in high school I really didn't have a lot of jobs. I didn't want one.
What, did that change at some point? Because I've never wanted a job and I've had like 20.
I mean, I guess it did because I paid a lot of money to like do the job, not this job, not the podcast job, but like my doctor job. I paid a lot of money to do that, so I guess I must have wanted it, right?
Yeah.
When I did want it. I do want it. I like my job now.
I mean, you like save lives. So.
Well, thank you, Riley. I guess I do.
Oh my god.
Now that you mention it.
I just meant that's the literal point of your job.
Now that I mean, you're right. You know, I don't like to think of myself as a hero.
I give people tacos and beer, so that's saving a life sometimes too, I think.
And I give people enjoyment in their ears.
I think in a lot of ways, Tay, people probably leave after you have done your job for them. People probably leave a lot happier than after I've done my job.
Except that sometimes my job leads to your job.
Well, that's fair. This is a plot. My sister and I have a nefarious plot that we've hatched.
I make you sick and she makes you well and we get the money.
I'm not a part of this plan.
Well,
you just distract them with chuckles. It's an excellent plan.
you can show them where all the cool YouTube videos are.
Yeah, you can show them my YouTube videos.
You're all in the Smurl
Speaking of my
Sister
YouTube
Tango.
But I was back when we were younger. There weren't our parents kind of had, and Taylor, I think you can back me up on this. They didn't make us get jobs. Certainly,
No.
They basically said like, you live here, you know, so we'll give you food and clothing and shelter and you know whatnot, protection from animals.
Protection from animals.
Yes.
The basic necessities of living.
We will not charge you for protecting you from bears.
We won't let the bears inside to eat you.
The base of the triangle for Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like those were all taken care of by mom and dad.
Yeah.
Well,
and
they put a very big emphasis too on our schooling. Like that was kind of the attitude. Your job is to do really, really well in school. And we did. So we did work hard at that.
yes, we did.
Which, like, we talked about this a little bit before the show, but I've been thinking about it. That saved them some money in the long run. Because what if their long-term goal was like, you do really well in school now, that's your job now, so we don't have to pay for college later.
Well, I mean, I guess
I tricked them on that one, huh? I went to art school. Wah, wah.
well, you got into a really nice school. That's not something to feel bad about.
No.
I mean, I guess in a sense that is true because part of my goal was to get a scholarship and I did. And so, but part of it for me was that I also knew I was going to rack up massive med school debt on my own someday, which I did.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make college as inexpensive as I could through academics.
So I'm going to be the favorite once I get a scholarship and go to college and don't have med school debt.
Oh, look how cocky. Look how certain.
Get free college.
Remember that community service you got to get on over there.
Hey now.
Yeah, you got to get on that.
Started a GoFundMe.
No, I there was not a huge stress on us to get jobs. Unless I always knew kind of, it was the unspoken, unless I wanted a lot more stuff. I mean, I was not somebody, I've never liked shopping very much, so I didn't go buy a lot of clothes. I kind of wore what mom got me for Christmas and my birthday, like, and then back to school shopping. And that was just it. Like, those were the things. Like, mom got them for me. I figured that was cool enough. I wore them. I was fine with it. And I really didn't go look for, I didn't want to go buy new things. Same thing with things like CDs or, you know, DVDs or whatever. I just didn't.
A lot of CDs and DVDs now.
It wasn't something, but I knew that probably if I had wanted a lot of that stuff, Mom and Dad would have said like, well, hey, go get a job. But as long as I didn't,
No, that's true. Cause I was pretty much the same, except for any anime fan out there understands that it comes with a horrifying need for stuff. The love of anime. So when that kind of, became the reason that I did seek out jobs, and I had some summer jobs through high school.
You did,
yeah. They were funny though. Well, I was babysitter for one summer, but the kids were like pretty old. Like the kids were like, I feel like 9 and 10. They were like right at that age that they probably didn't need a babysitter, so they just like chill out and watch TV in one room, and I'd watch TV in the other room, and I'd get paid for it.
That's a good gig.
Yeah. I remember they liked to watch Wings, and so I got really into Wings for like
a 9 and 10-year-old who liked to watch Wings.
I don't know. We would all just sit around and watch Wings, and like that was my job. It was not so bad.
I never watched Wings, but my take on it was that it wasn't a show aimed at elementary school students.
Not for kids.
I mean, not like bad, not like a racy show or anything.
But
just not like
kids.
Yeah, not like. That's not the intended audience.
The only thing that the takeaway, I know that there was something about airplanes, but you can probably figure that out from the title. And I remember that I think the actor is Steven Weber. I remember he was dreamy, and I think I was the only like 15, 16-year-old girl in the late 90s to have a crush on Steven Weber.
Oh, I bet there are a bunch of Wings fans who right now who are like, no, me too. I feel you, girl, me too.
This is 2000s even, but yeah, I know, that's all I remember about that job.
I did the babysitting thing some, more just because I felt like it was one of those things you were supposed to do as a teenager. Like, well, now is the time I will babysit. I will have this. And I mean, obviously, I'd read every Babysitter's Club book ever, so it felt like an important.
Felt right.
It felt like something that needed to happen. Now I will babysit. And I still remember I had babysat just a few times, very short periods of time for the family that lived up the street from us that had 4 kids. So I would babysit for like not all of them at the same time usually, and just for very short periods of time. I remember, and this may have been the last time I ever babysat. Actually,
it's going to be a good story.
I went to their house one evening to babysit, and it was all 4 of them, and it was like parents were going out for the evening, so it was going to be a longer period of time. It was at night. I was responsible for like dinner activities and like bathing in bed and like the whole thing. And I showed up, and they said, we're just waiting for our friends to come. They're riding with us. And then their friends got there, and the other couple also had 4 children that they were also having me babysit.
Oh, no.
And I swear to you, I didn't know about this ahead of time.
Instead of Kate plus 8, it was Sid plus 8.
It was. I babysat 8 children. Now, to be fair, 2 of them were about your age, Tay. So, like, not now, not currently.
Oh, I was going to they were babysitting 30-year-olds, and you were how old at the time?
They were only 3 years younger than me. So, like, they weren't, like, the 2 oldest weren't that much, but there were 2 babies involved in this scenario. So, anyway, I babysat 8 children. I remember at one point thinking, I don't know how I'm ever going to get all this food off the floor. Like, there were so many pieces of, like, toast crust and, like, cheese and things on the floor and noodles from mac and cheese. And I just remember thinking, like, it was the longest night of my life. I don't think I ever babysat after that.
But that's not really your fault, because I was really good friends with one of the children in that family, and I think it's just a byproduct of having that many kids around a certain age. There were always noodles everywhere all the time. just always. You stick your hand into the captain, noodles. You under the table, noodles everywhere.
And now that I have a toddler, I will tell you that I only have one. There are still quite frequently noodles
everywhere.
Like, I remember at one point, just a couple days ago, Charlie was we were sitting in like, we have this big oversized armchair in our like kitchen living room area, and we were sitting in it together, and she was trying to dig under the pillow behind me, and I was like, honey, what are you doing? Why are you digging? What are you looking for? She was like, oh, I'm getting the goldfish, mommy. I don't know when this goldfish is from. I don't. She needed to get the goldfish.
Stockpiles. Some like what? It's like in a toddler brain. You're like, I might need this for the long winter. Just
gonna stuff this under the couch cushions. It was a cracker, by the way, just the goldfish cracker.
Right.
An actual living goldfish that she had stuffed under.
No, not a creature was not. That would be awful. That would be a really dark story.
That'd be an awful story. I will say I did the babysitting thing too. But I only ever babysat for one family who had 2 kids. One was a little girl who was very chill and like 9, and her little brother who is very not chill and like 4. But babysitting now, when there is YouTube and technology, is so much easier because it was a family that the mom always gave me like a list of rules and times. She was very organized whenever I would go to babysit. And she always said, I don't let them do much TV watching or video game playing during the week. And I always ever babysat on the weekends. So it was like, they're allowed to watch as much TV or play as much video games as they want, basically, as long as that's not the only thing they do for the entire evening, as long as they eat at some point. So it was like, that's all they wanted to do was watch like Minecraft videos on YouTube and play Skylanders. So it was like just me sitting there watching them play Skylanders and watch YouTube videos, and then like popping a frozen pizza or some chicken nuggets and a salad. Well, not a salad in the oven, but putting those in the oven and making them a salad and then just putting it in front of them.
That would have been so much easier because I remember, like, I really think that must have been the last time I babysat, because I still have images of that evening, like sitting in like piles of toys of various like age.
I thought you were going to say piles of noodles.
There's so many noodles. Piles of toys all around me and like trying to play with one kid and then another kid's crying and then the older kids are trying to help as much as they could. And like, and it was just, there was no TV. There was no, I mean, we didn't even put on like a VHS tape or anything. It was just like playing. Everybody's screaming. Everyone is upset. I can't please you all. I actually remember the movie I was watching right before I went to babysit them was an old movie about the Titanic.
You're so cool.
Like, A Night to Remember? Is that what it is? What is that old movie? Anyway, it's an old black and white movie about the Titanic. But I still remember like thinking like that was apt. All right.
See, I don't know. I feel like what you're describing, just like a bunch of people like talking like incoherently and a big mess and everybody needs, that's just a regular night at the bar for me. Like I'm a professional babysitter now.
There are a lot of noodles at your bar?
There are no noodles. It gets much worse. And there's no wings. Like, I'm not watching wings to balance it out. It's awful.
Toddlers are basically like drunk people.
They are, yes.
You have to keep them from hurting themselves. They're incoherent most of the time. But they're funny.
Yeah.
So the next time that like a mom is telling me how hard momming is, I can be like, I work at a bar, I get it, and that won't super insult her.
I mean, maybe you don't want to put it that, but yeah. I mean,
okay. I'm just checking.
You know. Now I do remember like if I had wanted to get a job other than babysitting, mall jobs were very cool because then like you were at the mall.
Let's go to the mall
today. So you could be at the mall, which was inherently cool, and then you had access to like the mall food court, which was cool for like lunch break. And then like you saw other people there, like your friends who were shopping there, and then as well as like the other people who worked there, and it was like this whole community that I felt like, oh, if I was ever gonna get a job, I'd be a cool mall job person.
Now,
you know.
Did you ever have a job at the mall though, Sid?
No, I never had a job at the mall. Justin had, I think, every job in every store at the mall at some point in his life.
Justin work at Claire's?
Justin did not work at Claire's. It was the one store. Justin did not work, no.
See, now I worked at the mall for a summer. And that beautiful picture that you just painted is so wrong. I worked at the mall food court at a pizza place. It was a disgusting job. But I think my favorite memory from that whole period was when I was going to the mall to try to find a job. And there were 2 places that had help wanted signs up. There was the pizza place and the Chinese food place. And I went to the pizza place first, filled out an application. Didn't have a resume at that point. And then I went to the Chinese place, and there was like one of the managers, like an older woman, and then a young girl behind the counter. And I asked for, a job. The lady went to the back to get me an application. And then the young teenage girl behind the counter just looked at me with absolute terror in her eyes and said, "You don't want to work here. You don't want to work here." And so I just said, "Okay," and wandered off before the lady got back. Now, the bummer thing was I did get the job at the pizza place, which was right across from the Chinese place. So I just had to stare at that old lady all the time. No. And she would just glare at me across the food court. And like, "I'm sorry, I was scared of you, and I think there was good reason for that."
I will say, I have always, whenever I was like starting out high school and all my friends were getting jobs and I was not yet old enough to have a job, I was like, I want a job when I turn 16 and can actually have a job. I'm going to work at the mall.
You used to say that all the time, that you're going to get a job as soon as you turn 16.
Yeah. I obviously did not follow through with that. Nope. This is now my job. But I always wanted to work at the mall, but the one thing that made me not want to work at the mall and is hard about finding a job as a teenager, at least in Huntington where we live, the mall is kind of far away. So like you have to, not far away, but like it takes a solid 15, 20 minutes to drive there, which is gas. And then you have to drive back.
The look you're getting from your sister who's lived in Brooklyn for so long is...
It takes me I walk to work for 20 minutes. Like, come on.
No, but like, okay. I would have to fill up a lot of gas to get up there and then get back and also go to school on the same day.
Uh-huh.
But working downtown is also 15 minutes away.
School, which is like 5 minutes from your house.
It's 10 minutes from my house.
So our standards for commute are different here.
I was just trying to say there are two places in Huntington basically where you can work, and that's downtown in our like eating and shopping area or at the mall.
Yeah.
And if you're not working at one of those two places, you don't have anywhere to work as a teenager.
Okay. These are inconceivable distances to traverse to obtain a job. Okay, just clear. Now, Riley, I want to tell you about my worst commute, which was when I worked at a coffee shop in Rockefeller Center, and I lived way out in Brooklyn at the time, and my call time was 5:45 in the morning. Because the trains would run so slow at those hours, I would get up at 3 a.m. to get to the train by like 3:30, and it would take me about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes to get to work. So I have no sympathy for you.
But were you a teenager?
I was like 21, 22.
So you were an adult.
It still sucks, though.
I mean, yeah, that still sucks. But like... You're living in New York and you're an adult. I'm living in Huntington and I'm 16.
You have a Lexus. I was on the L train.
The amounts of time that are long for each of us living in our areas are different.
No, time does not change. What?
No. An hour and a half commute from here would put me in a different state.
Yes. How lucky for you.
Yeah. But still, it would be a long commute either way.
I know that, but I'm saying, like, I would never get a job where the commute would be an hour and a half. There would be no job for me to get where the commute would be an hour and a half here.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Unless I applied for a job an hour and a half away.
We can find out
you all
about
can
that.
just keep making fun of me. That's fine. You all just go ahead.
What is this line of reasoning even supposed to prove?
I want to tell you all about the time I worked in the restaurant industry.
Oh, this is good.
I was a hostess once. Now, I was out of high school, but not very much. I mean, I think I was I was still a teenager, I think, actually, technically. Because I think I was 18 or 19. So this counts, right?
Sure.
Counts as a teen job. So I was a hostess at one of our local restaurants, and I did it for, I think, just shy of a month. It was like 3.5 weeks. I was very bad at it because it involves a lot of like smiling and banter and like
you say hello. This is your table. You're not trying to impress anybody with your wits there.
Well, people are waiting and they expect you to like talk to them and like be pleasant and welcoming. And I was not, I was not naturally very good at that. And the other thing is that servers scared me because if you there was a rotation, right? Everybody had a section and you seated people in a rotation so that everybody got plenty of people in their sections. Well, this was a restaurant where there were booths and people freaking love booths. Everybody wants to sit in a booth. And so I'd be taking people to their table and then they'd go, well, can I sit in a booth? And my instructions were to urge people to sit at tables, but don't say no. If they really want a booth, don't say no. Put them in a booth. And so inevitably, I would end up skipping the servers that didn't have booths in their section. And they would get so mad. And then they would come up and be very mad at me and ask me why I was skipping them and what my problem was. And it was very scary for me to be like, I was instructed that by the managers that if they wanted a booth, I had to put them in I tried to tell them the table. I tried. And it never worked. And I was always being yelled at by servers. They never liked me and I hated it.
Well, I mean, it's funny because, see, I've experienced this from the other end of like being like a manager or a server and getting, like either destroyed by a hostess that just keeps seating you. It's like, well, you're on the sidewalk and everyone wants to be on the sidewalk. Like, or the opposite of that. And, there's always this conversation happening between like management and servers, like, she can't even do this one job, put people at tables. What on earth can this person achieve in life? And you're a doctor. And that's just like, come on.
It's hard. It's hard when the patrons are asking for a certain thing. And like, and that was the thing. Like, I asked, can I just tell them no? No. Okay. Well, I don't know what to say. So I would try to like sell it like, you're going to get really quick service in this section because no one wants to sit here.
Yeah. Great.
But our tables are so nice. The wood was handcrafted by carpenters that live down the street. And we carry the tables because they're too good to ship in cars. I don't know. Just please sit here so the servers don't yell at me.
Oh, Sid.
They get so angry. I was really bad at it, and I took the job knowing that in a month I had to go on this research trip where I lived on a boat on the Ohio River for another month or so. And so I took the job knowing that I was about to do that. And I told my manager, like, I will be leaving at this time, but they wanted me to come back for whatever reason when I was done with the research trip.
You just never came back?
So I came back. And they knew when I was coming back because, like, I had a message like, hey, let us know when you want to start putting you on the schedule again. And I didn't know how to say, like, I so don't ever want to go. I can't. Like, my soul had been freed on the Ohio River, and I could not go back to the shackles of hostessing. And so I called my manager and said, I have decided to live on a boat. I live on a riverboat. I won't be back.
You lied and told them that you were forever living on a riverboat?
Yes, I did.
Did you avoid going to that restaurant for several months?
It was years before I have been. I still, to this day, have only been to that restaurant maybe 2 or 3 times.
Do you still think the same manager works there, Sydnee?
No, actually, I know for a fact that they don't because I've talked to people since then. They don't. They were like, it was like one of those deals where they're like 3 managers who shared the. Anyway, none of them work there anymore. But it's still scary.
That's wow. But you should feel good about the fact that you were a hostess. I don't know, maybe this isn't true outside of New York, but like there are certain archetypes for certain jobs, and I will say like that job can actually be very difficult, especially when you have like very tight windows of seatings. Yeah, I'm not trying to underplay the job, but in New York, it's like they're servers. Yeah, you got to be quick. You got to be able to multitask, But to be a hostess, you have to be able to do all this stuff, but you also need to be some like tall, beautiful goddess. Like it is the face of the restaurant. And so it's like hostesses are just these beautiful gazelles that walk around between us. Like, what is that? That is a hostess.
A wild hostess has appeared.
I know. You can tell they have very expensive shoes and a vacant look in their eyes.
I did feel a little outclassed by my fellow hostesses. I do remember that feeling like, wow, there's some nice looking people working up here. And it was kind of also inherently sexist because there were no hosts when I worked there. I mean, there might be now. I don't know. The restaurant may have changed.
I don't think there are. I know what restaurant you're talking about. I don't think there are.
They were all hostesses, like the cupcakes.
But the one thing, and I urge everybody to have a job in food service at some time in their life, as much as they can or cannot fit with people. I entered food service as probably equally as awkward as you were, Sid, at the time for my first job. But it will teach you in time how to like break yourself of that awkwardness, those like inability to have small talk, you know, how to like talk people into things without like using language that's aggressive or anything. Like you actually learn really good social skills that most humans are probably born with, but genetically we are not. Like, you will learn them over time.
Maybe I should have tried longer. Maybe I would have benefited from those skills now.
I mean, now you're a doctor, so that doesn't matter anymore. you just jumped right ahead. Don't worry about it now. But
I mean, I'm good at talking. I can talk to the people I take care of, I think. Like, I feel like I do. I enjoy it.
I mean, you probably have to talk to them at some point.
Yeah, I do.
Now they start trying to make small talk with you, and you're like, I live on a boat, and you just leave.
That's my defense forever. No, I will say that I do remember, and even back in high school, I always had this image, though, and being a hostess reinforced it, that my friends who got jobs in the restaurant industry, especially servers, I always thought were inherently like cooler and maybe like a little like dangerous. Like don't mess with the server. Seriously.
Oh, that's true. That's 100% true. I'm a big fan of Anthony Bourdain's books, and he talks about like people in the food service industry, and it's like these are people that should have like been like horse thieves and pirates in the past. Like, well, they don't have an industry anymore, so now they work in restaurants and they make your food. I think it's true. It's just like this is the most fun people and also the most terrifying people in some cases.
They're scary if you cross them.
I think the main difference between teen jobs now and teen jobs when you were getting teen jobs is that a lot of teens can find jobs on the internet where they don't have to leave their house and can just like either make things and sell them through like Etsy or other places like that, or be on YouTube and make money from that, or do a podcast. But like those are jobs that you don't have to leave your house and you make money, and you know.
Do you have, other than yourself, do you have friends who make who make money doing that?
No, I mean, I don't know people personally that do that, but I mean, I am aware of like online personalities and presence that are teenagers my age that are making a lot of money,
or even younger.
Yeah, or younger, making a lot of money.
That, I mean, because I guess you can do that just playing, like you mentioned, Minecraft. Like I'm imagining there are a lot of teenagers who do that.
Yeah, there are also a lot of like 12-year-old little boys who like are on the app Musical.ly and just mouth the lyrics to songs, and I guess become very popular and make a lot of money, like millions of dollars a year. What? Or like write their own raps and then put out a video on YouTube of them rapping and make like millions of dollars a year.
Really?
Yeah. I'm talking about two specific people that I know about online. A lot of people like to make fun of, but like they're making bank. So, you know.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I know that you can make videos where you open toys.
Those are literally some of the most popular videos on YouTube, along with people like dressing up like Spider-Man and Elsa and dancing.
Anything. No, I unfortunately, because of Charlie, have found some of these videos. Okay, can you, Riley, I need you to answer. I don't know if you'll know the answer to this. There is a trope in internet, like in YouTube videos, that I have noticed of, it's like Disney princesses and superheroes. Okay, they're hanging out, doing whatever. Like there's no, they could just be like sitting around having a picnic. It doesn't matter. And Batman shows up with pizza. Now, is this a thing that I'm not aware of? Like, I've seen multiple videos in which there's like Spider-Man and like Elsa. Like, there's always Spider-Man and Elsa. They're always there, and then they're friends. And then Batman pulls up and is like, pizza. And everybody's like, Batman brought pizza. Why does Batman bring pizza?
I don't know.
What is the association between Batman and pizza and YouTube videos?
I know that you're asking this question both seriously and jokingly, because like I obviously don't know the real answer why Batman always brings pizza, but there actually is a very serious answer why those videos are so popular now, and also like unboxing toys.
Why?
YouTube actually has changed recently the way it suggest videos to people, and a lot of like popular YouTubers that I watch have been talking about it. That's how I know about it. They've been like losing subscribers and losing views and not making as much money because they changed the way that people are suggested videos, and because so many little kids are watching videos now. And like I've seen Charlie watch those unboxing videos, or if you open up the surprise things, you don't know what's going to be inside.
Those
like,
eggs,
those get literally hundreds of millions of views. Yeah, and like that is making a ton of money. But it's because kids like watching those videos, and kids won't click out of videos. So like you put down a 15-minute video for kids, they won't click out of it. They're watching a full 15-minute video, and all they're searching for is Elsa, Spider-Man, Frozen, toys, unboxing. So you put those in your tags, and that's what's suggested for you. So that's what automatically gets suggested on the side of your videos, and the autoplay makes it so you keep playing those videos over and over again.
It changed
its like algorithm, the way it suggests videos. So instead of suggesting videos like from the same person or like from the same realm or something, it's suggesting like, oh, you just watched a 15-minute long video of unboxing toys. Here's a video of Elsa because this person tagged their video with Elsa toys unboxing. This person did an unboxing video of Elsa toys. Like those are the videos that are getting all the views, because I click out of videos that are too long, but YouTubers make more money if you watch their full length video instead of clicking out of it halfway through.
I gotcha.
Charlie's obviously not going to exit a video.
No, she will. So. And that's the thing. Like I do want to stress for any other parents who are right now going, you let her watch what? I don't start with these videos. Like I don't pull them up. What Charlie saw the Trolls movie. She is obsessed with anything that has to do with the Trolls movie is not out yet, so I cannot access the movie.
Right.
But there are like video clips of it. Like you can watch music videos of it on, and then trailers. I have seen every language trailer for Trolls. I have seen every language trailer for Moana. I have watched every video on YouTube that is legally accessible that has Trolls or Moana in it. And what inevitably that leads down the YouTube rabbit hole to is...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you're
adults
searching,
pretending to be troll dolls acting out scenes from Trolls.
You're searching for Trolls clips, so you search Trolls, and instead of getting just Trolls clips, you're getting people acting out like trolls, and that's the videos that they're suggesting to you in those videos.
I walked in, I had like had to go pee, and I left Charlie watching Trolls music video, and I leave the room for 5 minutes. I come back in, and she is watching an adult with like two little troll dolls, and they're talking to each other, and the one's like, but if I'm allergic to my clothes, what am I going to wear for the night? And I'm like, whoa, no.
But that I think there is like, it's like all roads lead to Rome. I think with YouTube, all roads lead to like some horrible spooky. No, you don't want to go there. Like no matter where you start on the outside, no matter how innocent a thing you start with, if you let that keep going with suggested videos, you will end up in a dark place. And we've all gone there like willingly. Like, well, what's next? What's next? What's next?
I found myself the other night, actually, I'm going to be really honest, now that we're talking about this. It was like the night before school started, after Christmas break, and my sleep schedule was all off. I was like, I can't fall asleep at 11 o'clock. I need to watch something really quick. And then I got started somehow watching like 4-minute documentaries on this one channel that puts out documentaries about people they think are like unusual or interesting. And I was up until 2:30 in the morning watching 4-minute mini documentaries about various people with either various like conditions or something that was abnormal. And it was very weird, but I couldn't stop.
Well, I mean, that's not as bad as like when
as
you
naked
get to
trolls.
As naked troll dolls. Like that's not nowhere as bad as naked troll, which like are just trolls. Those back in the day used to just be troll dolls.
Just trolls.
They were all naked. They had the little jewels on their belly.
Yeah.
But then they had the ones that came out with clothes on them. But
so now it's bad when they're naked.
Now
trolls.
It's bad when they're naked. Why do we have they were just in the naked state naturally, I thought.
But they always did have like weird. They had weird butts though.
They did have weird butts.
Right.
All right, guys, we were talking...
Like, very detailed.
Guys, we were talking about jobs, and now we're talking about troll butts.
Well, we just went on a YouTube slide.
That's what happened.
We just went down a YouTube rabbit hole verbally.
We did.
That's how you... and people are making money. That's
the thing. Yes.
I watched YouTube videos for quite a while before Justin fully explained to me that people were making money off this. I used to think he was joking.
No. People make so much money. Like, can you imagine? Yes, you're spending hundreds of dollars on 30 Kinder Surprise eggs, but then you open those in front of a camera. It doesn't matter if it's 45 minutes long. Little kids will watch that whole video, and it gets like 75 million views, and then you make like millions of dollars.
I don't understand.
That's so insane to me. Why didn't we have something like this when we were kids, Sid?
I don't know. There was nothing. I mean, it really like I can't think of a corollary of a way when we were younger, if we had wanted from the comfort of our own home to make a ton of money. I mean, like
Scams.
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 We would have had to run some sort of scam. No, I mean, like, seriously, I had a lemonade stand.
Did you have a lemonade stand?
Mm-hmm. I did.
I never thought that was a real thing. I always thought that was like a fake like movie trope.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll remember this, Taylor, but my friend Julie and I built a lemonade stand.
I remember that.
And we had it, like, we built it in her garage. And like hammers and nails and wood, and like old school built a lemonade stand and sold lemonade in like, there was like a vacant lot right in the middle of our street where we grew up. And we like set it up there and sold lemonade there. And I think, if I remember correctly, we stored, I don't know how many days we actually did it before we would store it like in the woods that were adjacent to the vacant lot, because we wanted to drag it all the way back to her house.
I thought you meant the lemonade.
No, just like the stand. And one of the other kids who lived on the street totally thrashed it one night when it was stored.
I remember that.
Yeah, we came back the next morning and found it just like destroyed.
How much money did you make off that lemonade stand, Sid?
I don't remember. Not
50 cents.
Much. Yeah.
Mom and Dad each bought one glass.
That was probably it, like our parents buying some lemonade. Yeah, we did that though.
The only technology-based job that I ever had, I think, was when I was like 17 years old, and this is so silly now in retrospect, but there was like a design company that our dad's business worked with, or something, or knew somebody that owned it. Anyway, they did like billboards and stuff, and I was brought in to train them a couple times a week for a while on Photoshop. So I would go in and like, this is how you make a text bubble. Like, this is how you select something. This is blue. Like, it was the most basic stuff, but you know, like that just the younger generation sort of getting a jump on the technology and making millions. I did that in my own teeny tiny way.
There you go. Well, there was definitely room for that in our generation. I never figured out how to tap into it.
Riley, do you feel like the YouTube thing is there a bubble there? Is there like a sense that the people that got in the beginning and started making these channels, like they're the YouTube celebrities, so to speak, or is it something where people can get famous and get rich off of this still? Like,
I think it was easier probably to get into it when all of the people that like are famous through YouTube now did, because like now they're adults, and they were adults when YouTube first started, and they've been making videos for like 10 years. So it was easier for them when no one was making videos to start making videos and become really popular. But I mean, I think it's definitely possible now to start out, because I mean, I watch people on there that are 18 years old, 17 years old. So obviously they weren't making videos 10 years ago, and they're popular and famous. So I mean, I think it's harder now, and a lot of people my age probably think it's impossible to do and like super hard, so they wouldn't even try. But I think if you like work at it, I think it's definitely possible to be where all those popular people are.
I feel like there's also a degree of like, I don't want to necessarily say luck, but it's a little bit of luck, and then a little bit of being really plugged into like trends and like what direction culture it's going. Because if you can tap into what the next weird, quirky meme, whatever thing is gonna just happen, if you can be just one little step ahead of that, you could be, the big celebrity in that arena. But it's, I don't know. I've never been plugged in enough to our popular culture to predict things like that.
No, for sure. I would say that every super popular YouTuber had in their area had one video that they put out that was like super popular and got more views than they'd ever gotten and got them so many subscribers. And it was that one video that they did on that one topic that like either they are a gaming channel and they played a game that no one had ever heard of, and then right after they played it, it blew up and everyone was playing it.
Yeah.
So everyone went to their channel to see, like, this is who started it, or some trend or challenge, and this was the first person to do it, and it blew up. Like, everyone had one video that was their area that was super popular, no one had ever done before, and it just got them all of their subscribers, and then people keep coming back to the same person to see,
like those princess standoff showdowns, whatever.
Yeah, princess rap
Charlie
battles.
loves those things.
Yeah.
That's also true of she adores the princess parody of Shake It Off.
Mm-hmm. I know.
She keeps demanding a Trolls Shake It Off.
Oh no.
Which does not exist.
But
that is not a thing.
Will.
But
hey, somebody out there.
I know somebody out there's gonna. I know. Like I could. When she asked me for it, I thought, well, it's probably. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Not yet. It will be there.
Yeah. That was like the other day. She was very upset and wanted to hear Shake It Off. So I, by mistake, turned on just regular Shake It Off. And then she got very mad and said, "This is wrong." It's like, I don't know what you want.
You know, I'm kind of surprised that doesn't exist, the Troll Shake It Off, because that's one of my great joys of YouTube, is that, like, when I have a weird thought, like, you know what I want to see? Like, I just go on YouTube and say, somebody's done this. I watched my cat yawn not too long ago. I thought, I bet there's a thing out there where somebody has dubbed in screaming over cats yawning, because I want to see that.
Watch that.
And then I went to YouTube and just typed in, like, cats screaming while yawning or something like that. And then somebody put together a great video of all these cats yawning, going, ah, ah. Like, this is wonderful.
One other question I had, Riley, about, like, back in our day versus now. And I think that this is even something that, like, if you go back a generation before Taylor and I, has changed even more drastically. We have said mom and dad didn't put a ton of pressure on us to get a job. Like, if we had wanted a bunch more stuff, I think they would have expected, like, well, get a job so you can buy it. But it wasn't like you're 16 now, you should get a job just because. Like, there was no, like, this is just what the responsible. And I'm certain that there are people who had different experiences. I feel like part of it is a shift, though, that a lot of my friends didn't necessarily have that same pressure from their parents, but I think our parents did have that pressure. Like, I mean, like, mom and dad were both lifeguards, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that was, which was like, yeah, that's how they met. Well, him hanging out at the pool, I think, when she was lifeguard. But, like, and that was, by the way, I think, if we're talking about cool summer jobs,
that was probably the cool summer
job. The coolest job.
Yeah.
I always wished I could have been a lifeguard. Like, I was of the time where, like, I could be a lifeguard. That would have been the coolest. But I feel like there was a lot of pressure on them to have jobs, like, just because it's the responsible thing to do now. You're old enough, you should do it. And then in our generation, it was like, well, I mean, you could. Yeah, if you want things, go get a job. Do you think that has continued to lessen, like, the pressure on people your age to get a job just because?
I mean, I will say all of my friends, at least, I can't speak for all people my age, obviously, but everyone I am close to has never said my parents are making me get a job. Like, none of them have parents that if they were like, I want to go see a movie with friends, I need like $15, their parents would be like, no, get a job. Get your own $15. You can't go out and see movies with friends. Like, all of them have parents
a long haul to get to that movie.
I know. All of them have parents that, like, would buy clothes for them, back to school shopping, and would buy them something if they saw it and were like, oh, I want that, or pay for them to go out with their friends. But also, all of my friends, at least, don't like asking their parents for money a lot, so they feel bad. So either, like, they won't go out with people as much. Like, if we want to go out and do something that would cost money, they're like, no, let's do something like go to someone's house instead. Or they will only, like, get clothes like back to school shopping and birthdays and Christmas, and they won't ask for things during the year just because they feel bad asking their parents for money. And that's why about half my friends have jobs that pay them just because they want the freedom to do what they want with their money, and they don't want to feel like my parents give me money, but I can only do with it what they allow me to do with it. So now they feel like I have my own money. I can do whatever I want with it.
It's a really interesting shift, though, because that kind of echoes that, like, the idea. I mean, because I think Dad was very much somebody who, I believe our grandparents, his parents, looked at him and were like, you know, you should get a job. Like, that's the responsible thing to do now. You're old enough. You should have a job. Not just so you'll have spending money to, you know, go out with your friends or go out on a date or whatever, buy things for yourself, but also because, like, you're entering into adulthood now. You're old enough to to do that. And I think that our expectation of when quote unquote adulthood starts, I think it has gotten older over time, And so now at 16, those sort of like inherent responsibilities of adulthood, I don't think we have.
No.
We don't expect that of you yet.
No.
Now, we will eventually, but that age has gotten higher.
I mean, mom and dad have always told me basically, school is your job while you're here. You don't have to pay for anything necessary. We'll pay for your food. We'll pay for your clothes and where you live and things like that. Anything you need for school. I mean, while you're living here, you don't have to worry about that. Once you move out is when you need to worry about getting a job and having money.
I wonder if that's bad.
Well, I think it just goes hand in hand with so much more of an emphasis on going to college. I mean, in Dad's generation, not everybody went to college. And so if you're getting a job at 16, well, you're going to enter the workforce anyway when you're 18, 19 years old. You're just kind of getting a jump on it. So it's like now there's such an assumption that you're going to go to college that it's like, oh, okay, why would you get a retail job? And then you're going to need to quit it because you're going to go off to school in a year. Like, I think it's less of a... It's just kind of, I think you're right, though, Sid. It just rolls back that start period on your quote-unquote adult life by a couple of years. So maybe that's just why there's not an emphasis on it.
The way Dad has explained it to me before, because Dad and I have talked about this before, Mom, Dad, and I have all talked about it. Dad has said before that he had that pressure on him to get a job when he was 16 or 17 or in high school and was old enough to get a job. And when he got older, it was like his generation felt like we had this pressure to get a job. We don't want our kids to feel that way. We want our kids to be able to like do what they want and not have to worry about getting a job or feel that pressure. So they didn't make their kids get jobs. So it was like, our grandparents' generation all had to get jobs and were forced to get jobs. So they made their kids get jobs. But as our parents' generation got older, they were like, we were forced to get jobs, but we don't want our kids to have to do that. So we're going to, loan them money and not worry about making them pay for things that they want.
And it's hard. I mean, certainly there's probably a balance in there somewhere where, I mean, I feel like Mom and Dad taught me a really strong work ethic.
Yeah.
Like, you both mentioned that too, despite the fact that they didn't demand that we get jobs. School is our job.
Right. But we always had to have like a strong work ethic when it came to school, like always doing homework on time and attending school and
when it came to
stuff.
The time of my life that I entered the job world, that I entered the workforce, I did not feel unprepared for the demands of that. I did not feel like, all of a sudden I have to be somewhere on time and there are certain rules I have to follow and I have a boss. Like none of that was overwhelming to me any more so than I think it would have been if I had like a job at 16 that prepared me for it. I was ready for that. I knew that was coming. I was ready to respond to those demands. I was ready to work as hard as I needed to. I don't know. I feel like that there's a way to do that without saying like you're 16, you have to get a job because.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, I mean, it's about learning how to work towards what you want to achieve, not necessarily just, how to make money. And that's what, no matter what, we were working towards what we wanted to achieve, whether we were employed or not in high school.
That's a really good way of putting it too. That's a really good point. To working towards kind of your career, your like life goals, whatever that is going to be, as opposed to just like, this is how you make money.
Yeah.
Which both are fine, but I think it's about figuring out what works best for you. I imagine some of your friends you've mentioned who said, you know what, I want to have a job because I like to have my own disposable income. I like to have that power. I like to have that ability, would feel very differently about this conversation. But that's a good thing that you have the freedom to, if you want to get a job, if you don't want to go to college, if you want to work straight out of high school, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be able to go to college, like I definitely knew I wanted to.
Right.
Mom and Dad made sure I had the tools to do that. So.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say it's just a difference. I mean, again, my friends would probably say it's impossible to get jobs in what they want to do when they're older around here. So they're getting jobs to make money. But for me, I have a job that's kind of in an area that I'm interested in. So for me, I want to find jobs that I can do that are related to what I want to do when I'm older. I'm not just getting a job to make money because I don't have to worry about having money that I need to spend because Mom and Dad will take care of it for me. I'm just getting jobs so I can know what I want to do when I'm an adult.
Well, and I think that's that distinction between working towards the things you want to do when you get older and then just making money is important because like even now, I mean, I'm an illustrator, a lot of the time, I mean, I have set a regimented schedule for myself where these are the hours that I sit down and I draw. And a lot of times it's personal work that I would never get paid for, but treating it with the approach that I treat my jobs that pay is actually it, because it is just because you are or not making a living off of it. You know, the things you want to do with your life, you should learning the skills on how to treat that like a job are really important, and giving them the respect that you give the things that you get a paycheck for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that is the one thing that's kind of hard for my generation, at least, is if they aren't making money off of it right now. Like, it's something like they want to be a writer, so they're writing like at home, but they're not making money off of it, obviously, at 16. Or they want to, I don't know, do something on the internet, but they're not making money off of it yet. They won't dedicate the time to it because they're like, well, why bother? I can just go get a job. It's not what I want to do, but I'm making money off of it. And I think that's the one thing that's hard when you're a teenager, and also living in the time we live in now, because you're not accessible to something you want right now. So you're not going to do it if you're not making money off of it immediately.
And that's, I totally get that, but to anyone in that situation, it only gets harder.
Yeah.
There was a really good Onion article that was titled like, do what you want on nights and weekends. Like, you know.
It is, no, I mean, it's very true. It's a good lesson that, you know, I always think about it. For me, residency was a good, you know, analogy for that. Like, the 3 years that I spent in residency were very difficult. My hours were incredibly long, and I was not doing the thing I wanted to do with my, I mean, I was being a physician, certainly, and there were good times. I'm not going to complain. It wasn't all terrible. But if somebody said, now these 3 years, this is what the rest of your life is like, I would have run screaming. I mean, this is not, you know, that is certainly not what I wanted for all time. But it was worth it. I'm glad I did it. And it was putting it all that time and effort, and like for the long-term gain. Obviously, I don't regret a second of it. So,
Yeah.
But I think it's important to be able to know that and have that kind of perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's all of life. Everything gets better if you put in the hard work in the front end.
Yeah. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
But, you know, sisters, even though we've referenced this as a job several times, this doesn't feel like a job for me.
No.
Aww.
Riley's noise and face. Yeah, I was like, well.
It only feels like a job when I get home from school and have to actually put it together.
Okay, fair.
Okay.
Well, spending time with you all is not work at all.
No.
And I love that we get to do this. And Riley, if this is part of, you know, if something like this is part of your future career goal, I think that's a great direction to go, because this makes me very happy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think you're pretty good at it too, Riley. I think you could.
Hey, thanks. I think you're pretty good at it too.
I think you're both great.
You know, I think you got some potential in this.
Hey, thanks.
Stick with it, kid. You're going places.
Hang in there.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, sisters, for joining me again.
You're welcome.
And laughing about my experience as a hostess.
Intro butts.
I have to go intro butts. I have to go back to my boat where I live. So.
Sydney does live on a boat, actually. We've been keeping the secret from all of you.
If only.
Sydney's metaphorical boat of insecurity.
That prohibits me from letting down the manager at the restaurant where I wanted to quit my job. Thank you for everybody who listens to our show. You can join our Facebook group, Still Buffering on Facebook. You can tweet at us at StillBuff. You can email us at stillbuffering@maximumfun.org if you have thoughts, comments, suggestions. You can, if you would like to send a message to somebody that you care about or like, or just are friends, whatever. You don't have to put a label on it. You can go to maximumfun.org/jumbotron, and we will send a nice message to someone.
I've sung before. We've rapped before. Taylor's written songs before.
I wrote a song. I like that. I put that out there, and that nobody ever asked that again.
Oh,
It's okay.
Taylor
No one
will
ever
write
asked me to rap Hamilton again either.
Taylor
true.
will write you a personalized birthday song, and Riley just raps Hamilton anytime.
Yeah.
So like you don't even really have to prompt her.
No.
And while you're at MaximumFun.org, check out a lot of other wonderful podcasts on our network. Thank you also to the Novellas for our theme song, Baby You Change Your Mind.
This has been Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydnee McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
I am a teenager.
And I was 2. Oh. It was creepy.
Hey guys, this is Adam Conover. You may know me from my True TV show, Adam Ruins Everything. Well, guess what? Now we're doing a podcast version right here on Maximum Fun. What we do is we take all the interesting, fascinating experts that we talk to for just a couple minutes on the show, and we sit with them for an entire podcast, really going deep and getting into the fascinating details of their work. Find Adam Ruins Everything wherever you get your podcasts or at MaximumFun.org.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.